Hey, BassGeek here, and we're going to talk about topwater ledge fishing. Yep, you heard me right. I said topwater ledge fishing, and if you don't believe me, look right up here, wherever the heck it is, and go watch this video. I will show you the sonar readings and I will show you the fish catches. Now, this isn't something that you're going to do all season. It's going to be 2 times a year that you're going to get to do this. One, in my opinion, is more prevalent than the other, and it's actually one of my favorite times a year to fish. Now, the thing about ledge fishing, and again, I use that term very loosely, guys. Really, I should say deep water or drop-off fishing. You know, a ledge can literally be right against the bank. But you could be fishing for them in 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 foot deep during the summer. You know, ledge fishing could be bluff fishing. Bluff fishing could very easily be considered ledge fishing. You know, the thing about it is, you know, ledge, again, I use that term very, very loosely because a lot of times those offshore bites, you're going to have those on the deep water, on humps, on points. Where I live, a lot of the lakes that I fish, a lot of times ledge fishing is fishing the ends of long points or deep water or humps that are adjacent to deep water. So let's jump right in. Let's talk about this. Before we even talk about baits, I'm going to throw in the wind. The wind. There's 2 times a year that I think this can be done. The first time is when those bass first move out there. Now, a lot of times, a lot of guys will take and use spoons because when they first move out there, they first start moving out there, they don't hunker down, they don't group up, they can kind of be all throughout the water column. And those shad can be out there and they're chasing those shad around and, you know, running them to the top. So you can get out there on those points and, you know, the shad are still maybe spawning up on some of those points, and what ends up happening is those fish will just slide off to the edge of those points and they'll chase those bass up. So a lot of times you can use these bigger topwater baits and get you a few, you know, good strikes in the boat and get them in the boat early. But the best time of year for me, and you, like I said, you've seen it in that video. If you look up here, there's a link you can click on somewhere and go to it. You've seen it in that video. The best time of year is right when the nights start getting colder. Listen, guys, you don't go from summer to fall fishing like that. It don't just go, damn, it's cold, I'm going up shallow to feed. So what they end up doing is the water, the nights will, you know, progressively begin to cool down, and you'll see those fish out over that deep water, they begin to suspend up. So in that video, you'll actually see bass that are, you know, at about that 20 foot range, but they're over 30 or 40, you know, 46 feet, I think, at one point is what they're suspended over. And those are the areas that they're going to summer, but they just start suspending up as those shad that are still out there in those areas get higher in the water column. And that's where these come into play. And to me, right before they really move up on those points or wherever, that's where you really, and some people might consider this a fall pattern, you know, if you're fishing those points. But to me, where I tend to find them is in the same area that I found them all summer long. They're just suspended up in the water column. They start suspending up and they start feeding, and then all of a sudden, then they move up in those shallow areas and spread out. But you can, well, I mean, again, you've seen the video, and I cannot wait for it to happen again this year. Hopefully I don't miss it. But I've done it 2 or 3 years in a row, and I cannot wait to show you. Hopefully I get to show you this pattern again later this year. So now, I told you when. Can I give you a certain water temp? No, it's not really about the water temp. It's about the nights getting colder and that water temp may be just starting to drop. You know, there may be a warm front that comes through and it may heat it back up. But you'll notice when you go across those fish, they have suspended up. They're up in that water column, just kind of sitting there. When you see that, especially in clear water, I think that's kind of the deal. I think you really do need a little bit clearer water. And late summer, early fall generally tends to be about the clearest water you're going to get all year. And I think that's why it works. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the baits. So the baits I like are the big topwaters. I'm a big fan of any sort of big walking bait. And a bait that I got turned on, I think the world got turned on to just a few years back. These are gunfish. I don't remember who makes this particular brand. The brand that's probably most famous is the Evergreen Shower Blows. You know, they're that $25 MegaBass style. What's great about these baits is the design, and the weight is back here. And you can hear, these are one knockers. I don't know what it is, but in clear water, that one knocker tends to be the deal. And it really seems to be the deal when those fish begin to suspend up later in the fall. Now early in the year, you know, you can get a lot of rattle when they first get out there. They're post-spawn, they're feeding up. I don't think it's a big deal. But later in the year, man, that one knocker just seems to really do it. But what's great about these is they're actually a popper. But when you're fishing top water for these bass, you don't want to burn it. And I know everybody's deal with the walking baits is just a tick, 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 and burn them in. You're calling these fish up from deep. So yes, they may be over 46 feet. They may be in 20 feet, but that's still 20 feet. And if you chug that across their head at 100 miles an hour, unless they're super, super active, and sometimes even if they are super active, you chug it across there too fast, you're not giving them time to come up and look at it. They're going to come up, it's going to be gone, and they're going to tail off and go back down. What's great about these is they really stay put. They have very little horizontal movement. They sit and are weighted in the tail, and when you pop them, they almost sit completely still, and they almost do, you know, a complete 180 when they're walking. Generally, when I'm going to throw these is when it's a little windier. You got a little more chop on the water. These things are going to spit, they're going to sputter, they're going to make a lot of noise, but they're going to sit still. So they're going to be a good target when there's a little less light penetration. So now, as for the walking baits, guys, whatever your favorite walking bait is, just make sure it's the full size, it's the big one. In the spring, you can get away with the louder rattles. They're first out there, they haven't seen a lot of walking baits yet. You know, go ahead and throw really pretty much whatever you want. During the fall though, again, the one knockers or even silent, I think helps. I like a one knocker. I think a little bit of noise helps pull those fish from up deep. And again, it's another thing where you're going to walk it very deliberately and slow. The cadence is going to be side to side to side. You guys know, and if you haven't seen it, I'll also put this up here. Go look at the loop knot that I tie for any top water bait that I use. Now, you know, so as far as colors go, I generally go with 5 colors. I'm going to go with some sort of white or bone bottom. I'm going to go with a translucent. I'm going to go with a chrome, and you know, if you like blue back, black back, it doesn't matter, they're not going to see the back. Every once in a while I do kind of like a little silver, and generally a black. Now the black for this, for the ledge fishing, generally don't use it. So the 4 colors I generally go with: a silver, a white, a translucent, and a chrome. That's generally the colors that I go with. Don't worry about the top finish as long as, let's say, from the middle of the bait to the belly, the color's consistent. That's generally what I look for. Generally rod, reel, and line setup. Rod, reel, and line setup to me, these rods, and I'm going to give you a perfect example. This is a medium, and this is the Piscifun Torrent that I did a review on. This is an old, and it's a 7-foot. This is a 7-foot. This is a medium heavy, and it is a old tournament grade Quantum. I mean, it is old as the hills, but it gets the job done. So even though this is a medium fast action and this is a medium heavy fast action, they're actually very close to the same action from blank to tip. The thing about these rods are, honestly, if I had to put it, it would be, this is a medium heavy, it's closer to a medium. This is a medium, and it's closer to a medium heavy. So they're kind of that, they've got a little more tip so you can cast those baits a mile. Again, both of them are 7 foot, because when you're working the walking baits, you're going to be working down toward the water. So you don't want to be slapping the water. You know, I'm 6 foot, so, you know, 7 foot works pretty good for me. I'm pretty comfortable with that. Some guys may want to go 6'6". Some guys may want to go, you know, 6'8", 6'9", 6'10". That's fine. Get a rod that's comfortable for you, that you're not slapping the water. Now, as far as line goes, line is the same on both of these. I'm using 15-pound monofilament, and no, I'm not using a leader on here. Now, you can use a leader, mono to braid if you want to, whatever you feel comfortable with. I fish a lot of clear water. I want to stay, you know, straight low vis green monofilament on my top waters. Again, I tie that loop knot on all of them. Now, reel, and you can see this is actually the Torrent Piscifun reel. It is a 7-1, and this is a 6'8". This is an old pro qualifier, and you know, it's a 6'8". That's kind of that's the speed I really like, that 6'8". This is a little too fast for me. I get a tendency to start moving the bait with the reel instead of moving it with the tip, and that's the key to walking these baits. Move the bait with the rod tip, not the reel. All right, so 6'8", 7, again, that's your preference. I like the 6.8 to 1 because I don't turn the handle too quickly. Everybody has their own cadence. You have to figure out what that is. I'm a cranker. I like to crank, so I have to go with a little bit slower reel in a lot of cases to help me overcome that natural habit of wanting to crank. So we're going to be right back out there on those ledges, the same place we fished for them all summer. Once you locate that school and they're there, we're going to be there. That's where we're going to throw these topwaters. Here's the key. They have to be suspended up. So when you go out there and all of a sudden you don't see them in that fine bottom lineup that everybody tells you that they should be in, and you all of a sudden see them up in the water and you see all these dots up in the water, pick this up. Especially if you see some shad popping on top in that area. Man, you're gonna have a day. You're gonna have some fun. Get out there, work it slow, set the hook, have your net ready, and man, it's a blast. It is a blast. And as you can see, you're gonna catch some big ones too. So like I said, the wear is really about the wind, early spring, or late summer, early fall. All right, guys, as always, I know this is a very unusual technique to be talking about in the ledge fishing sort of genre, but like I said, I got video proof, man. I showed you. It blew a lot of people's minds when I put that video up last year, and it's fun. I can't wait to do it this year. Hopefully we're gonna finally get somebody hired at work and I'm gonna be able to get out here and actually do some stuff. Anyway, so as always, questions and comments in the comment section below. You guys know I want to talk about fishing with you. I love to answer your questions, and I know you're going to have a ton of questions about this one. This one's crazy. I know a lot of you guys are going to think I'm crazy. I know a lot of you guys who sit out there and go, oh, that BassGeek don't know what the he's talking about. Again, I got video proof. Got video proof. I can show you when. I can take you out and do it. I'd have to charge you. I'm kidding. But anyway, video proof. It is a blast. It is fun. I enjoy it. So, questions, comments in the comment section. You guys know I love to talk fishing with you. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell. Guys, the likes, the comments, the questions, subscribe. If you're watching this video, please subscribe. I get a lot of people that watch my videos that are not subscribed. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and then make sure you hit that notification bell right beside of it, so that you'll know when these videos are coming out, because watching them only helps the channel grow. Anyway, you guys rock.